Ask George is brought to you in association with International Cricket Tours. ICT are specialists in cricketing holidays with a personal touch. So if you're looking to go to New Zealand, to Australia or Sri Lanka this winter, look no further than International Cricket Tours.
Hello and welcome to Old Trafford for Ask George after the second day here. This is George DeBell, he's our chief correspondent. This is Melinda Farrell.
What am I?
You're Melinda Farrell.
In the military, apparently.
In the military?
You just saluted.
Yeah, I don't know what that
Nor do
I've
I.
been saluting at everyone today. It's really weird. I don't know.
And without further ado, Reese Benjamin asks,
Hello,
have
Reese.
India just been Bazballed?
What does that mean? What does
I don't
know
think
what it
they have,
means.
actually, for a couple of reasons. I mean, up to a point, look, Ben Duckett scores incredibly fast. And Zach Crawley picked up. But do you know what? He was none from 13, I think. And I thought his defence was a little better. Well, to be fair, it's probably the same as it was at Leeds. But he pushes at the ball a little bit less. I think he hits a bit more on merit. Do you know what I think really happened? I thought India were awful. I thought they were honestly, I've just been saying this to Sid Munger. Of all the test series I've seen involving India, I've seen lots, I don't know that I've ever known them be worse in the field than they were today. I've had bad days with the bat, but I thought they were really poor. And England, having withstood a somewhat tricky start, feasted. And it should have been so much harder. Yeah, that probably sounds really harsh, but it must have been agony to be an Indian batter in the field watching some of that tosh that was bowled. Do you want some examples?
Yes.
Well, okay. Shardul Thakur, 7-2 field, 7 players on the offside. 2 balls in 3, sort of leg stump and outside to Crawley. Nearly every batter in the world's going to hit those before, and he did. Why are you bowling to Zach Crawley? You were trying to get that slice drive, yeah? Trying to get him caught, as they did, to be fair, at Lord's, at backward point. Shardul Thakur eventually bowls one in the right place, swings away a wee bit, Crawley goes for it, slices it to backward point. There's
No
not one
backward
there.
point.
It's poor. It's poor.
Here's another example. I did put this in my article, right? Mohammad Siraj, who should have had the new ball, I think we can all agree, he went down to field over there and they were bowling the Mitchell Johnson song at him. He bowls to the left, he bowls to the right. He then followed that up, you know, Mohammad Siraj, best when he's fired up, he followed that up with a perfect leg stump ball that was just turned away. And how many of those did we see throughout their Indian bowling effort?
Well, and even Bumrah, you know, I do think, to be fair, this England opening pair are probably quite hard to bowl against because they're so different and they hit the ball in wildly different places, and any bowler, you know, is going to have to adjust. And there's so much pressure on Bumrah. You know, we know that he's got a 4 or 5 over spell in him, and he probably feels that he's got to do all the work because the other bowlers, I mean, why have India brought in this new bowler into the squad and into the team? I mean, Lord, he looks like a poor man's Thakur.
Do you know what one of the
Anyway,
Indian-
Bumrah, I think, was under a bit of pressure, but even he struggled with his line and length. Yeah, it felt like a day too far. I think it's going to be really hard for them to get back into the series from here. But, you know, it's a really big test of India tomorrow morning.
when we obviously did have a new bowler, I was told by one of the Indian journalists to watch out for him because there was a lot of Scott Boland, and I did not see a lot of Scott Boland.
They're both mammals.
They are both mammals.
What else?
That was about it. It wasn't great, especially when you looked at it just looked like the ball, the pitch, the entire environs of Manchester had been disappeared, and we had a completely new one brought in.
When England started batting, conditions were ideal for bowling, absolutely ideal. But he reminded me of Esther Amuddin. There's a topical reference for the kids. 1982 Pakistan bowler who was called out of the leagues, turned out to be tubby and slow, and didn't look up to it. I don't think he ever played again. No, I'm not saying, look, this fella could have just had a bad first day. Of course he could. But Lord, it was bad.
The Cricketers' award-winning team brings our subscribers news, features and insight on county and international cricket every single day. You can try us now by signing up for £1. Yes, you heard that correctly, just £1 at thecricketer.com/digital.
Innocent bystander asks,
Hello, mate.
Crawley, do we have to just accept it, or should they only pick him for Old Trafford Test and series against Australia?
So Sky produced a stat, didn't they, midway through the day, that showed his average against, who were the bowlers? Bumrah, Hazelwood,
Rabada.
Stark, Rabada,
Cummins.
and Cummins. Okay, so a decent handful of the best seamers playing today is 53 point something. And that's interesting, isn't it? So he does play pace well. We've said this before, you know, I don't want to go over old ground, but it's what I do for a living. So he plays pace well. It's not as if he doesn't have any strengths. As we said yesterday, it's just that he's also got weaknesses. I think I might compare him, another great topical reference, to Frank Bruno. He's got a hell of a punch, but he's got a wee bit of a glass chin.
Oh, yeah,
Interesting.
okay. Yeah, that's okay. I can see that. I think even listening to him up in the press conference afterwards, just he acknowledges it himself. He feels so much better within himself playing quick bowling, and he always has ever since he was a kid. He is going to be playing in Australia. We know that, barring any injury, of course. And we've just seen it today. It just brings out the best in him every time, and
it always has done, hasn't it?
Always has.
So
yeah.
real early in his career, there was he got a half century at somewhere like Joburg, which is quick, yeah, real quick. And I reckon he hit a dozen fours. I mean, you'll be able to check this out. And every one of them was in front of square. That's really unusual.
But that's what makes it so frustrating about him, when you see him do that and then you see him against other bowlers who perhaps aren't quite as good, getting out in ways you think that someone of his talent maybe should not get out. But
But he put it quite well, didn't he?
He did,
Because
yeah.
as you were alluding to, he said something like, fast bowling, I don't have to think. And what is concentration is the absence of distraction, the absence of unhelpful thought. And it does seem that when he's got options, when the ball's swinging and it's not going particularly, when it's Shardul Thakur or someone bowling, or Reddy, or whoever else has got him in this series, that he's, he overthinks it.
yeah, and and also interestingly enough, he said he prepares an awful lot before each test to those really high-class bowlers, like the ones that you mentioned.
He said even when he was a boy or coming through at Kent, he would put
Yeah.
the bowling machine as fast as it would go. And that's why they're picking him for Australia. And it's not completely unreasonable. I would be picking Sibley, even today I would. But, he's answered some of those criticisms, and good luck to him.
Niharika Rana asks, were you or Old Trafford ready for a one-legged 50 from Rishabh Pant, and has he just written himself into another chapter in a rich manual of showing courage for your side on a cricket field?
I think he has. I think that's fair. It was bloomin' brave. It was really, really brave. And he's obviously incredibly talented. I thought he didn't have to do that, you know. I don't think anyone would have criticised him at all if he hadn't come out to bat today. He was clearly in pain. He was clearly in pain yesterday. And he's been hobbling around on a moonbeat at the team hotel. They haven't confirmed it, but it really does sound as if his foot is broken, or a bone in his foot is broken.
The fifth metatarsal, apparently.
Right, and you could argue that he has exposed himself to further school absences. That's an even more dated reference. Oh, come on, you remember Ferris Bueller. Don't pretend you don't. And have you seen it?
Yeah, yes.
You'd love it, yeah?
It's great,
Yeah, right. All the topical references today. God, I've lost myself. So he didn't need to do that. So it was brave as hell. It really was. And I hope he hasn't. The fact he was running singles and stuff.
Well, running that's interesting use of the word.
He had
running.
weight on his feet, though, didn't he?
I
And,
was just hobbling.
I don't know if it was smart, but it was really brave. And he still managed to hit boundaries. He's crazy talented. Oh, the thing I was going to say is, I found him a troubling cricketer to sum up. I don't quite know what to think about him. There have been he's crazy talented, right? No one's disputing that. There have been times I've not been absolutely sure that he's doing what the team needed, if I'm honest, such as slowing down before milestones. Not just his, to be fair. But I think the milestone thing has been a problem in cricket everywhere for a long time. He's been incredibly selfless today. He's been brave and selfless. What more could you want from a player?
And now, with how England have started, without his runs, they would be even closer to being, even further behind again.
Thing is, I think he's going to have to do it again.
Yeah, God.
And it's
Well,
not going to be any better.
He's now set that precedent, great, fun, but, he came out in the first innings, and even if it's hurting, he's going to have to come back out in the second
I
innings.
guess on the bright side, he'll be able to take some time. I think the next series, he's not playing at the Oval, is he? And I guess the next series is West Indies for India, and then, is it the Asia Cup? I mean, it's not the end of the world. I don't even know that will happen. So if he misses the West Indies series, that's not the end of the world, probably, and he can get his feet up and have a good long rest. But really frustrating, because, he's obviously missed a lot of cricket, and he's going to miss a bit more, I fear.
I was just going to say, God was getting real when he started playing some of those shots. I was getting Glenn Maxwell against Afghanistan vibes. So that was that sort of shot making, although obviously slightly more serious than crap as it was for Glenn Maxwell. But I'm conscious of a 10-minute limit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, as always, for sending in your questions. We really appreciate it. And we can't wait to put on the show again for you tomorrow.
He's so good, isn't he?